Pooh Bear, what if someday there came a tomorrow when we were apart?
Don't be foolish, Christopher Robin. You know the penalty for your betrayal.
Yes, of course. But if...
Welcome back to Remembering the Razzies.
I forget how we do the intros.
It doesn't work doing this once a year anymore.
Yeah. Today we watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
It was something.
It was fine.
It's an indie horror movie based on the childhood cartoon and book Winnie the Pooh, except this time he likes to kill people.
The movie itself kind of took advantage of the fact that Winnie the Pooh entered the public domain, and so they made You Can Do Whatever You Want, and they decided they wanted to make a horror movie.
Which, you know, could have been fun.
Could have been.
Had they, you know, hired a writer or something.
I think that's the biggest problem that I had with it is the writing was really bad. It didn't really have a plot. It was just kind of a series of killings.
Christopher Robin, once smitten with his friends Pooh and Piglet and others, decides that he's too old to play with wild animals anymore. The gang, hungry, eats Eeyore and becomes evil and doesn't speak anymore. And then 5 years later, they want to kill a bunch of these girls for some reason.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the plot of the movie.
That is the plot.
There was one review that I read where somebody said, well, at least only one girl got her top ripped off.
That's true. They really showed restraint.
This is very much like an exploitive indie horror movie, as in it's like, oh, look at all these young girls, let's kill them all.
They hit like all the tropes of a horror movie. In theory, I think that's fine. Like this was the director's first movie that he's ever made.
And you know what, to be honest, besides the writing, and despite the fact that it was all super dark and I couldn't see what was going on a lot of the time.
And the fact that they were British and I couldn't understand a fucking word they said.
She went to the pool, didn't she, out the back? Yeah, early on.
Huh?
There were some, like, good slasher moments in it. I think whoever did the visual effects on the gore, like, not bad. I've seen worse in professional movies.
That's true. I did notice the CGI a little bit, but I think in terms of, like, spectacle, I think the ideas were there. It's just there wasn't anything connecting any of the kills, and so when they happened, like, you just don't really care.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you a single character's name. I think you called them all Bridget. They were all named Bridget.
In my head canon, because like it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
And they're all dead by the end of
Yeah,
the movie.
they all die. The only one who survives is Christopher Robin.
Oh
and
my
he has
God.
like nothing to do with most of the movie.
That's true. And like the ending isn't an ending.
It's
just
the classic
stops.
joke of like, oh, what if the credits started playing here? And then they did.
I'm happy they didn't pad the runtime anymore, because it did feel like they were padding
it
it a
was
little bit.
Already padded because every kill is preceded by 5 minutes of build-up.
It is crazy that they would intentionally introduce characters just to kill them less than 10 minutes later.
Yeah, so they find Christopher Robin in the shed, and then they hear somebody screaming, and he's like, Pooh got her this morning, go save her. And then they untie her, and she wants to get revenge on Piglet, only for Piglet to beat the shit out of her.
Like immediately. Really all that does is one, it introduced like another kill that you can have, and it also got rid of the main character's weapon.
Yeah, because she took the gun.
Yeah, she took the gun and then she just didn't know how to use it.
Even though some of the kills and the gore looks good, the way that we get there, horrible. Every
Always
time.
stupid.
All
Always
the characters are stupid as hell. There's one scene where a girl's in a pool trying to run away from Piglet with a sledgehammer, and she just is wading in the water,
She just like
slowly backing up more.
kicks back,
Yeah, she gets to the end of the pool and she's like, the water feels really nice. I don't want to get out yet. Then,
In the same scene, there's a girl who's knocked out right at the beginning of that, and like as the girl in the pool is being killed, she like wakes up, looks over, sees her get murdered, and then she just gets sleepy.
Yeah, she just falls asleep.
She just lays back down. I also think that this, as a horror movie, it kind of suffers from the fact that they don't make Pooh and Piglet scary enough to the point where it's more funny than it is scary when you hear things like Christopher Robin yell like, Pooh, don't murder that woman. It's not very good as a horror movie.
no.
It's not very good as a movie, but I will say, I think there's enough in it to where it's entertaining enough to watch with people.
It's a fun movie to just riff on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This movie was nominated and won all 5 of its awards.
Wow.
Worst prequel, remake, ripoff, or sequel, worst screen couple, worst screenplay, worst director, and worst picture.
I don't think I would fight any of those. Is
No.
the screen couple, is that just Pooh and Piglet?
Pooh and Piglet,
Okay.
yeah. They just don't do enough together. I think this was just an easy award. Like, who else? I couldn't even name another bad screen couple last year. Michael Douglas and his aunts.
I definitely think it deserves screenplay, directing. I think directing particularly just because it wasn't scary as a horror movie.
Yeah, I'm still gonna give the guy props though. I think he did for his first
Yeah,
feature.
for his
Like
first
there's stuff
feature.
in there that I don't think I could do yet. It's mostly the visual effects though. Like the lighting, the composition could have been better, but I'm not gonna shit on this guy for it. And then worst picture, this was nominated against Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Meg 2, The Trench, Expendables 4 or Expendables,
Yep.
and The Exorcist Believer.
None of which I saw.
Nope. You didn't even see Shazam? I thought you saw Shazam too.
I watched the scene with Wonder Woman at the end.
Yeah, the
That's
baby funeral.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the only thing
yeah.
I've seen, and it's hilarious.
I do wish that Ant-Man was nominated this year.
Yeah, it's crazy that Shazam beat out Ant-Man, because Ant-Man I did watch, and it's offensively bad.
I'll also throw out Rebel Moon, Zack Snyder's Star Wars. I think I liked that less than Ant-Man.
But how much did you like part 2? I know you watched part 2.
I haven't watched part 2.
Yeah, I wouldn't
I don't
blame
want to watch part 2.
I've heard it's just as bad.
I mean, yeah, this movie's bad. Again, I think there were some worse movies last year, like Ant-Man. I don't know. We got to get to a point where we start shaming Disney for making bad movies.
I think that has been happening for a while.
Yeah, but if
They need to listen.
The Razzies should do it too, and not nominate fucking Mike Lindell movies, because we have an election coming up this year. So you just know that next year we're gonna watch an election movie.
I know.
But it'd be so wonderful if we could watch like Madam Web next year instead.
Oh my god, I'd love Madam Web.
I forgot
would
that
love
that
to
came
watch
out,
that.
to be
yeah.
honest. I think we got a fun year next year.
Maybe superhero movie.
Oh, I hope so. I was
be nice.
so sad that Morbius didn't win last year. I'm still sad about it.
I am also sad about it.
Mostly because we had to watch Blonde. Speaking of previous winners,
Yeah.
let's compare these. Do we want to talk about Best Made?
I mean, I feel like this kind of has to go just below Blonde.
I think so too, because Blonde has, despite the fact that it's garbage,
It is like a
it's
really
aesthetically
well shot
nice.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have a little bit of hindsight bias in terms of we just watched the trailer for the second one, which has also come out. Everything honestly looks a lot better
Yeah.
made. We can't really blame this one for not looking that good. Again, indie movie,
Yeah.
first movie. Blonde was definitely better for sure.
And most entertaining,
I'd say this one.
this one's my top of the 2020 so far.
Yeah.
Not great competition.
No, this is the only one though, especially out of the 4 that I would,
Watch again.
that I would
Yeah.
tell people like, yeah, if you're interested in the base concept and like you know it's going to be bad, it's worth a watch.
Yeah. Blood and Honey. A lot of fun. Really bad. Not the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now we're at the awkward part of the show where we don't know how to transition because we're not going to do this again for another year.
True.
I kind of don't even want to bring up revisiting the Razzies, even though it is a work in progress.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe this year will be good for us. Maybe we'll do it.
Maybe.
Maybe we'll do it.
Maybe. All right. You want to make them kiss? Oh no!
He's
slapping.
Slapping. Slapping. Look at him go.
Hey, yo, what you been doing to them girls, huh?